Well, hello to our new listeners. Thanks for joining. And to our returning guests, welcome back. Welcome to season 6 of the More Sibyl podcast. My name is Mo. In this season, like you've been used to, get ready for more amazing stories, more inspirational stories to help you set your stories free. I created this podcast as a resource for Blacks, Asians, and those who love them to share stories and processes, as well as to build community around important salient issues that affect all of us as humans. So on this show, you get to hear amazing stories from people like you who show us how to get more out of life. The stories featured here are by people whose journey I am partly inspired by, as well as challenged by, but most importantly, people whose courage and vulnerability have afforded us an opportunity to hear their life stories. And I hope you find them as inspiring. Now enjoy the show, and don't forget to share this episode and the other ones. What are the odds of having two melanin people in Oklahoma? And so you guys are in for a treat today, because whenever I told her, hey, I'd love to bring you on the podcast, I was, hoping for the day to kind of share her story and hopefully even have you guys learn a lot more about her. But then I realized that, she's in Oklahoma. We don't have to do this virtual. I can actually make it live. So hence, her being here in person. And I'm super, super thankful for you coming. She also brought me some freshly made meat pie. This morning she made it. So guys, I'm in for a super treat as well. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to share with you guys, but you can always order from her. She ships across the US, so you got no excuse. Yeah. All right, Amy. Let's do a short introduction. So who's she? She's the CEO and head chef of Amy's Place. She lives in Oklahoma City, where I live. And she's also a graduate of the University of Central Oklahoma. I actually volunteer there as... Really? Yes, I do CRISP. Yes, we're a CRISP family. Yeah. CRISP is the Community Response to International Students program. So you host an international student. We've been doing that for like 4 years now. We have 4 students now. She's a food photography enthusiast and a quality control lab technician. She's a member of the CEOs, that's the Creative Executive Officers. She's also part of the African Chefs in Diaspora, Food Afrique, Chef's Corner, and Enlightened Entrepreneurs. This girl is given. Her business has been running for over 5 years in Oklahoma. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Amarachi and for some of you that might know her as Amy's Place. Hello, and thanks for joining us, Gina. So, even though we're having a conversation, I'll always prioritize my listeners' questions. So if you have any questions, just throw them in the chat. And officially towards the end, we're going to have a live Q&A session. If you had any questions that you want to unmute and ask, that's fine as well. Yep. So let's start, a little bit about your background. Let's start with the basic one. I know you're Nigerian. Tell us how you grew up, your siblings, and all that kind of fancy stuff.
Okay. Thank you again for having me on your show.
You look beautiful, by the way.
Okay. As she said, my name is Amarachi. A lot of people call me Amy. I'm surprised. I won't be surprised if some people don't even know my name.
I didn't know the full name was Amarachi.
A lot of people don't know.
Okay.
But that started way back in Nigeria. So it was just easy to bring it over here. Yeah. And I am the first of 5. So I have 4 brothers, and it's me. I was born and raised in Lagos. I went to primary and high school.
Which primary school did you go?
I went to Dominican Nigerian Primary School. It's it's been it's close to Maputo. So it's I don't know if you know this popular Catholic church, St. Jude.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
affiliated with it.
Yeah, so it's right in the same.
Yeah, I know St. Jude.
Yeah, so that's where I went to, and then I went to high school in Nigeria. I went to Command Secondary School, and I also went to
Ikeja.
No. Oshodi, and then I went to MMA as well, Moitala Manuel Airport Secondary School.
Is the secondary school associated with the airport?
Yeah, it's right opposite the airport.
Never knew
that. We were the first set.
And it's still operational?
Yeah, it is.
You learn every day, guys.
Yeah, it's like literally across the airport. So I remember in our class, you could see what's happening.
Oh, really? And the sound of the airports wouldn't.
I mean, we're used to it.
Okay, yeah.
I even live very close to the airport, so like hearing that sound.
I know what you mean. I used to live very close to the train tracks, and I kind of miss the noise because it kind of
really
knocks me up to bed. Yeah.
In Nigeria.
Yeah. By Britain, yeah. You know how if you're living northwest Oklahoma, sometimes you can hear the train tracks.
Oh yeah.
Initially it bugged me to death, but when I moved to the suburbs, I kind of missed just a bit of that background noise. Yeah. So I know what you mean by the airplane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it for Nigeria. Yeah. Then I moved over here.
What made you go to college? Was this something you'd always wanted to do? Like, what was the push factor for you? Because usually for people like us, there's always a push or pull factor. Did you get restless? Was it something you wanted to come, study here? Like, who did you follow in some cases?
I always really wanted to study here because I wanted to be a medical doctor. That was like my first goal, to become a medical doctor. And from movies and everything, you know how there's a lot more infrastructure here, hands-on. And I mean, my family had a big role to play in that too, because they were supportive. If they were not going to allow me, I won't be here today. So it's my parents, my family really, that made everything possible, aside from me always wanting to have the opportunity to study in America.
Well, congrats to them, because I can imagine that took a lot. The sacrifices and all that. Are any of your siblings here? Because sometimes we tend to follow our family members.
No, they're not here.
Okay.
One of my siblings is in Dubai.
Okay.
Well, he lived in Dubai, and the others are in school in Nigeria.
Okay.
Well, just the last two, the others already graduated and working.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, you being the adult of your house and all of that, and the pressure to always be like the model sibling, the deputy mom, deputy dad, and being in charge of boys. How would you describe that aspect of your childhood?
Hey, it was a lot, really. I mean, we had our good times and our bad times. I had to toughen up because.
Yeah, so you look so chill.
I'm actually chill.
I'm not really chill. I'm so. No, I'm not. I'm like, it's so.
I'm pretty.
You look like a laugh. You're giving laugh bomb vibe.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty relaxed. I mean, but sometimes you have to like speak up. We have to do this now. We have to do that now. Yeah. That was pretty much. And then again, I left when I was really young, so I didn't really experience the whole teenage life with them.
How old were you when you came here?
I was about to be 17.
Hey, when you said you came here, I thought you came here for grad school. Mm-hmm. Oh, you came here for college?
Mm-hmm. I started college.
17.
I turned 17 in America. I was in college, my freshman year when I turned 17.
So I was sent to boarding house when I was 11. I mean, even though it was like 4 hours away, it felt like the end of the world. I cried that whole semester.
Yeah.
I thought my parents hated me, but then I kind of got used to it. I made friends. So the next time my mom asked, hey, do you want me to take you out and put you in the disco? I was like, no. But you're moving across. Okay, you definitely have to talk. 17?
Yeah, I was like...
How did you convince your parents to just let you go? Being the only female too.
I know.
Nigerian parents.
I think they really trusted me. Really.
Oh, wow. That's why it's good to be chill, because it could never be me. So wait, you landed in Cameroon University at 17. Why did you choose Cameroon? Why did you know? Take that back then. I thought you met Aki in Cameroon.
No, I met him. Well, I had friends. So I will get to that. But
okay, so what did you go?
I started off in Rutgers University.
Where's that?
New Jersey.
You've been everywhere, Dad.
Yeah, I have really.
Not in Oklahoma. We're going to talk about that. We have a lot to talk about. Okay.
I started off in Rutgers University as an international student, obviously, before I transferred here.
Rutgers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite I imagine it's very expensive.
Very expensive.
Yeah, one of the good schools.
Yeah. I also had to take some classes in a community college, like
to kind of buffer. Mm-hmm. Save cost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Smart move for international.
Access County College in Newark, New Jersey.
So we're dropping tips on how to transition here. You start with a community college, get your right person. Now you're saving money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to serve as the audience surrogate. What can you get out of the conversation?
Right.
Sorry for the interruption.
No, that's fine. And then I transferred to UCO in 2015. Yeah.
Well, did you have any family there?
I had family, but it's different.
And you're introvertish, right?
Yeah, very, very.
How did you do it?
It was really hard.
It was lonely for me even when I came here in my 20s in grad school. It was super lonely.
Yeah, it was. I cried a lot. I remember, in Nigeria, I grew up with my family. I never traveled without them. So we all traveled together with my siblings as well. And then I was really excited to come to school because I had looked at my school. I saw everything. And I was like, oh, yeah.
And you watch school. Yeah. All those American.
Gossip Girl, what's this? This one. Gossip Girl messed in my head.
Oh, really? You were thinking about it?
Bro. I was like, nah. I actually, so that kind of messed in my head. And I remember, like in Nigeria, I had neighbors because we were born in that same house. It was my dad's house. And so you had neighbors talk to, like, on the weekends, my mom allowed spend like a lot of time outside just interact with other kids. And coming from that to this, where
nobody was talking,
I didn't even know my neighbor, obviously,
yeah.
I stayed with my aunt when I first came before school resumed. Yeah. So I cried a lot. I called my mom. I'm like, Mommy, I want to come back. She's like, you wanted to go to school?
We've sold the plot of land. You can't come back.
I cried so much. Like, I would just look at my brother's pictures and stuff, and I'm just like crying and crying. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to go home. But I think everything started coming together when I resumed school. I remember when I was in Nigeria, I prayed a lot. I'm like, God, please help me meet the right people because I don't like trouble. I don't want to get into trouble. And so when I started Rutgers in New Jersey, I had like the warmest friends ever.
Were they all international students?
Some were international and some were like people who got green cards. So they had gone to high school in Nigeria and then they came over here. And so, and the African Student Association, they was so warming. You didn't know who was Ghanaian or who was Kenyan.
That's good. That's what we like to see.
A good blend. And then it was just very fun from there on.
That's good.
So I started.
There's something I remember my former co-host once said about comparing moving to a country that's different from how we grew up in, like our culture. Those micro conversations, the interaction, let's call it that, because sometimes they're not conversing. Somebody saying, fine girl, by the bus stop, madam, good morning, how you doing? You don't chop. Those little conversations you have from the time you wake up in the morning and get to your work, we don't know how much it helps our mental health until we come to a country where everything just radio silence. Like to even talk to somebody, you have to be hope that it don't shoot you back, because of just opening your mouth. But I mean, 17 and you survived all of that. Kudos to you, really.
Thank God.
Kudos to you, because not everyone survives that. I have friends. When Aki came to the podcast, we had conversations about some students. Well, not some, like a couple of people in UCO at Cameron University whenever they came as young adults, almost like everything their parents had, they just sold to send them here. And whenever they go here, they just left them. Not like leaving them, abandoning them, but almost like go fend for yourself. We're not able to help you anymore. And then they took up, different vices. And so 17 is quite a very young age. And I can imagine it wasn't quite easy for you, but you didn't not only survived, but you also thrived. And I think that's the beauty of that story, taking that out.
Right.
Yeah. So as far as the educational system itself, like, what was, were you studying quality control then?
No.
Oh, medicine. Okay.
So I was pre-med.
What was the biggest adjustment you had to make?
The labs. Like in Nigeria, we're very theoretical. Like no practicals, no hands-on.
We had, but it wasn't matching.
Yeah, like everything was limited. Yeah. Like imagine 2-3 people sharing.
Population, exactly.
Population, yeah. So it was
hopefully it works and the magnification is working. Because I remember focusing that. Oh my God, remind me.
So it was a lot for me to like adjust to that a little bit. But I mean, it was easy because here you always get help. So I just had to like switch up to that. And I think every other thing was fine. Like if you study, we'll study. Let's get it. Let's get it. Right?
Yeah.
So Yeah, that was it for me. I just had to adjust to that. And then I remember like our spellings are a little different.
Oh yeah, we use the British English. Right. Yeah. Color is COLOUR. And it's so weird that I've spent 20 something years of my life spelling it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been in the US for maybe 13 years. But now whenever I see British English, it looks wrong to me.
Yeah.
This is what Americans have done to me. Reverse colonization. I can't even recognize the old people. Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
But yeah, I think it helped because there were a lot of people who were willing to explain certain things to you.
Okay, yeah. TAs.
I got TAs. Yeah. I still remember like my very first biology TA because it was very spot on. Like he was really good in like explaining certain things to you. It's German actually.
Nice. So they'll break down the concept here.
Yeah. So it's German. Yeah, it's German, but I think he moved here when he was really young. So it was like a blend of American and German.
I think there's a parallel to your story in mind. It's one thing to have TAs, it's another thing to use them. So TAs are teaching assistants.
Right.
And I found like a lot, when I was taking grad school courses in stats, I had a lot of questions, because some things were very germane to me.
Mm-hmm.
I learned from my white friends on how to use TAs. As a matter of fact, before that class is finished, they already became their time with the TAs.
Yeah.
So I'll tag along with them. Left on my own, I won't have got to use them because we don't even know the concept.
I didn't know.
So here's another lesson to take out of your story is using your TAs wisely for those in school. Right. You've paid for it, guess what? Yeah, they've charged you your tuition fee.
Right.
You might as well get your band for your book. So it's not on you, Amy. It's not on you. So pre-med. So how, what happened from there to what you finally ended up studying in UCO?
Well, I actually graduated with a bachelor's in biology. Mm-hmm. My goal was to go to medical school, but the whole international thing,
you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, it was in Oklahoma. I heard from research I made, you have to be like a permanent resident or citizen to get into medical school. And pharmacy school. Yeah. And even the PA school, I don't know if they've changed.
So why do you want to come to Oklahoma then from New Jersey?
It was cheaper. Because international, I was paying out of pocket, no loans or anything.
Okay.
Right.
Forgot that part.
Yeah, remember, if you're not a citizen or a permanent resident.
And it's out of state tuition.
Right. So, out of state is even different from international. It's
even more expensive. Mm-hmm. Hey, wait. Okay, so there are 3 tiers of tuition payments, right? There's in-state. So, in-state, qualifying from in-state, you have to have lived in a state for a particular number of years, or you have a residency there.
Right.
Like you have a house, your parents own a house that you were born there. That one is in-state because your taxes accumulate. So you're not supposed to be paying what the outsiders be paying.
Right.
Now, let's say somebody moves from New York to Oklahoma City. They'll be considered out of state for a few number of years until they meet residency status for tax purposes. Then their tuition will go down. Or you get a job on campus or through the states. Then you can get an in-state waiver.
Mm-hmm.
Third one is international. And the higher you go with those hierarchy, the higher your tuition fees. Because it can be a difference of 3K, what am I saying? 2K for in-state, so maybe 6K for out of state, and then maybe 15K
for international.
I was talking about Naira to dollar. They're not even the same class, literally.
How
do you guys do it?
It was a lot. Oh my goodness. At some point I was just like,
your parents, God bless them. God bless them.
I was like, this is a lot.
Naira, and this was even then it was 110 Naira, so it still wasn't funny. I don't know how parents are doing now with 700 and something Naira to $1.
I don't know. Oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot.
So you moved to Oklahoma hoping to be able to continue your mentoring, and you realized that.
Yeah, I finished my bachelor's here.
And then came in for trying to get into med school.
Yeah.
So even though you could save on tuition, you realized that because of this permanent residence status.
And I didn't have access to loans.
Oh yeah. Because I didn't want to co-sign for you.
I was international.
So another lesson here is that what people do is that you might find somebody who's willing to co-sign a loan for them.
Right.
That's a huge risk because you're talking about sometimes up to $500,000 for med school. And what does the co-signer do? Even though your name will be on the loan, the co-signer is just saying that in case you're unable to pay for that loan, they will take responsibility for that. Now, how many people can do that? Even within siblings, it's hard to find someone to do it.
Right.
And it's such a huge risk because student loans are for life. You have people that they are still in their 60s, they're still paying off student loans. It's just how it is in this part of the world, which is quite sad. Right. So, I guess just looking back at all of your experience, like, if there's one thing you'd like to draw from there as a way to encourage those who might be listening, given that you came here at 17, what would be some words of encouragement or even advice looking back on your journey?
Like, just remain focused. That's the thing, because there are a lot of things that could derail someone, you know, because here you're exposed to a lot. Your family's not here to like police you or say you can't go here or there. You're mixing up with different people, different culture, all of that. So always have it at the back of your mind that, oh, this is the reason why I'm here, and I want to get to where I I'm like trying to get to, and then just your faith goes a long way in that. Like, do you want to meddle into the wrong things? You're gonna tarnish your image, and then all of that. So yeah, I'm not gonna say it's the easiest thing to do, but I mean, it's just the grace of God, really, and just working towards what you want to get.
No, I commend you, like, because that age, all the distraction, and even still being this well-adjusted individual that is now beside me, I think it's worth celebrating. And kudos to you.
God,
kudos to you. So let's talk about your UCO. Mm-hmm. I love that campus, by the way. So I work for OU. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
I love UCO. UCO is so, I don't know. Anytime I drive through there, I go there like once a week. I feel, I don't know, it's just this quaint little campus, and there's so many. The international students of but it's very, very active, like they do a lot of stuff. And for a small university, relatively compared to OU, by the way, it's they do. I mean, I feel like they pack their own punch. Like they're well represented. They represent the community very well.
Right.
What was your I guess what made you switch to quality lab, quality control lab? Studying that as well, right? Well, that's what you studied, right?
No, I actually did biology.
At UCL as well?
Yeah.
Oh. So how did you move from that to being a quality control lab technician, and what does that even entail?
Okay, so pretty much for that job, that was with Oklahoma Blood Institute, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Very close to campus.
Yeah. And it was pretty much the requirements was having some science degree. And I already had like lab experience, you know, from biology class to anatomy to all of this other stuff. So it was just an easy for me.
Yeah. How long did you work there for?
Almost 5 years.
And that was your first job?
My very first job out of college.
Okay. So let's talk about some things. I think we can have some nuggets to share to our listeners. Right. So transitioning from college life to corporate America as an immigrant, that has some layers to it. By the way, I'm living for your facial expression. By the way,
yeah, my face away all the time. My face.
The perfect podcast guest. So, can you tell us some of the growing pains, or even just without, compromising your? Because again, we're not ruling out your future dalliance with the corporate America, but some things you can just share. So just tell us some of the growing pains, like adjusting to the culture. What was the biggest thing for you to adjust to? And they have stories.
It's a lot.
I have stories to tell.
I don't really know where to start from. Where do I start from? The weather was one thing for me.
Oklahoma?
Like generally. Do you mean Oklahoma generally?
No, I'm like moving from just being a college student to getting a job, like a 9-to-5 job. And then even in the workspace, I remember there were some politics and some things you had to adjust to, and it's not even on campus anymore.
Right.
It's like a real job now, like, responsibilities.
Yeah.
What were some of the things you had to overcome while you were there?
And I had to learn how to speak all, because I'm very like, chill. And so I'm just like, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And then with the amount of time I spent there, I had to grow to certain levels. Like before I left, I was a trainer. Wow. And then I was a senior tech.
Wow.
So
in 5 years.
Yeah.
Carry lad.
So I had to be able to, guide other people on how to do stuff. Like, you have to toughen up to like caution them when you're doing certain things wrong, because the same way, like, you can't treat two different individuals the same way, because people assimilate things differently, and then you have to bring yourself to a level where like you're doing what you have to do, and then they can follow. So you have to slow down, number one, like, for example, entering results, because I worked in quality control and I did a lot of paperwork. So imagine teaching someone the paperwork. You had to slow down, like, your pace and everything. So it was a lot. I mean, they were like great times and they were like
not so good times. Not like everyone plays. There's no perfect place.
I mean, generally, it was a good experience for me, you know, like working with different people, different ages, you know, being exposed. That was my very first job out of college. It was like, okay, this is how to do. And then, you know, that even shapes your life in every way. So in your business, in your day-to-day communication with people and all of that. So really it's...
Thank you for that. So we've talked about just the important, like you talked about being more vocal, you know, speaking up for yourself and being more assertive. So from your journey up until, you know, this point, and I imagine that even the job application process wasn't quite easy.
It wasn't.
Given that you are an international student, some places might not want to hire you. Right. If you're not a citizen, these are some of the things we've had to go through as immigrants to this country.
I got
exactly. Even though you're well qualified, I've paid this much money in student tuition fees and all that, and you're telling me I still don't qualify. I went to your university, but you know, that's a story for another day.
Right.
But if there's anything you could change, do differently, you know, up until this stamp of, you know, getting your job and working there for 5 years, and even through school and all that, is there any aspect of that you would do differently, and why?
I think I would have had like double majors.
So that always confuses me. You know, me, I went to school, my college was in Nigeria, but my grad was here. When people say they're not there, but two things confuse me. Help me. I haven't declared my major. One, why? And then two, you're doing double majors. What are you? Like, what does that even mean? Why have you not declared the major? This close to graduating.
So certain people, for that part, people are not sure of what they want to do. So instead of like starting today off as biochemistry and tomorrow engineering, most of them already know I'm going to be in the sciences, right? So they haven't like narrowed it down to what they want to do. So they would rather do like all the basic classes for sciences first, and then from there, like, so that's why a lot of people are undeclared, especially in their freshman and sophomore year.
I can see the merits of doing that, because in Nigeria I could never. As you're entering with the cap and I already know what you're going to graduate to, hopefully. How about the double majors? What does that help you with?
For me, I really love math. So I think for me, I wanted to do it actually when I was in UCO, but it's like, you have to, because of the classes, you have to stay 1 year longer. I'm like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, it's not like we don't like book. We like book, but money.
The money, because like I said, international student fees is a lot, and I'm not the only child.
And you never qualified for institution?
No, never. I mean, I got scholarships here and there, but it was like 500, 1,000.
Actually, after 5 years, you'd qualify for residency purposes for taxes in the US, and then if you had gotten like a GRA position, like a research assistant or teaching assistant through your university, because then you now be affiliated with the state if your university is a state university. That could have helped, but being an undergrad, those things are highly competitive.
Yeah, and I know it's like you said, it's more for people in grad school. I know a lot of international students in grad school don't even pay anything.
That's what I'm saying. That for international students and undergrad, it's highly competitive and almost non-existent.
Right. Yeah. And it depends on how big your campus
is. There's actually opportunities there.
Yeah.
So, how did you move from that to Amy's place? Like, is it where you were just looking under the microscope? Like, that looks like a meat pie structure.
No.
I must start my own business. How did that come to play? Like, have you always been, I mean, okay, not to be stereotypical, like, maybe I could be stereotypical. Being the firstborn, being a female, you cook a lot, man.
Right.
Somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
I've never met a firstborn female from Nigeria that doesn't know how to cook. Even if you don't like it, you have to do it.
Right.
You know? So, but for you, it's more than that. It's a passion. It's a calling. It's a ministry. So, how did you get from there to Amy's place?
So, I won't lie to you. When I started college, Amy's place was never in my vision. I didn't have that. I loved to cook. You know, when I was in college, I used to cook a lot. You know, cook my friends, roommates, everybody will eat.
Like Katrina, just
me, my food. I never cook for one person.
I never. Yeah, and that's good. You think I'm hiding families in my attic? I don't know how to cook small.
Yeah, I never cooked for one person, and so like even when I was in the East Coast, I would cook, and I lived on campus. I remember the dorm I lived in for freshmen and sophomores, you had no kitchen, but for juniors and seniors, they had kitchens because they didn't trust the younger people. But that's how I would go to my friend who was, I think, junior or sophomore at the time. I'll cook there. Everyone comes together and eat. And then when I came to UCO as well, it continued. And I was ASC president, by the way.
The American African Society, Student Association.
Yeah, I was the president and would have like a student events.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Nigerian food. Hey.
And so I would cook. I'm the president, I'm in the dance team. I'm here and there, but I would cook because we had limited funds.
Yeah.
And so we had to work our way around. I'm like, okay, I got it. I would just cook. And then, so cooking had always been a part of me. And then I was just like, maybe I can start something. The very first thing I did, which I don't know how I got the boldness, was open an Instagram page. I would just post whatever I cook on there. And, people started sourcing out, like reaching out, oh, can you do this for me? And I'm like, sure. I really love cooking. So that just made everything easier. Like I never had like the whole business knowledge about catering. Just so I know, even when I started, I won't even really make. I'll just, cook and stuff like that. And then certain things that I didn't know how to cook, I would practice. Like I was telling you when we started about meat pies and then pastries. Yeah. I didn't know how to do that before.
Okay.
So I had to learn.
Thanks for those joining us. By the way, if you have questions for either of us, you can put them in the chat function and chat. And I'll get to them. So, and I imagine that all your friends sampling it like, oh my gosh, Amy, this tastes nice. You should think about making, doing this more, making it. Can you, cook for me? Can you cater this? Can you cater that? Before you know it, the business is born.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful for my friends who are very honest with me. Because, it's one thing, everybody takes nice. Yeah. And, I had some friends that would be like, not like trying to make me feel bad, but say, can we tweak this a little bit? Can we do this a little? Like, I had really like a little knowledge about the business part. I just know, okay, I have to cook. It tastes good, right?
Yeah.
And I had to like learn. We're in a different country. You have to see how things are done here. Yeah. And so I started reading.
And different palettes too. You're not just looking for Nigerians.
Right. Yeah. And then you had to tone it down. Like, for example, some Americans can eat spicy food like the way Nigerians.
All Americans. Just kidding.
Not some that
I know. I was being obtuse.
Yeah. But I had to like work on that as well. Yeah. And so I'm really thankful for people that gave me honest reviews and like I had to build up on that.
Yeah. I also say to that, in one of the I think only actually, because we do parties, we throw parties at home and you've catered for us. You're one of the only person that has reached out and said, I need feedback. And it wasn't just even like, how was the food? You were very, very particular. Right. What also blew my mind? Whenever I ordered from you, so first of all, I should let you know this. The aunties in Oklahoma, which I'm part of even though I'm like a baby in that club, we've dubbed you the best meat pie in Oklahoma City. And these are Nigerian aunties, and that we don't play.
Don't play.
We don't play that food.
Do not play.
So shout out to my Gbedu group. They know themselves that listen to this. They testify, and we're very, very picky with food. So you're doing something great, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you. I hope you keep it going.
Thank you.
And that's one, your consistency, which is, always good to see. Number two was, so I met you through Mrs. Lawal. Mm-hmm. And this was last year during Thanksgiving. So we have this Nigerian association where we're not like very formalized, but we just get together once in a while to have parties. Right. And meat pies, more and those things that are common staples. I had the meat pie, I'm like, this meat pie is tasting different though. Because where did you get this meat pie from? So I said, there's a person in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma City, Nigerian. We used to have another person, but she's still moved to making hair, so our meat pie plug died. So I've been looking for a good replacement. She now gave me the box. I'm like, it came in a box? I just bet she's Nigerian or she's just an imposter. It's like, no, it came in a box. I looked at the box. There's an Instagram QR code. Who is this person? So I clicked on it. I was like, oh my gosh, she's like a whole thing. So that's when I reached out to you to cater for things. Right. And then I was blown away by just your packaging. Amy, like, I think I put an Instagram post about it.
I have it saved, by the way.
No, seriously, let's talk about that. Your customer service is just not parallel. Just the way you pay attention to details. She wrote a card, handwritten letter. This time, I never had write handwritten letters, and even though I like receiving them, she wrote a letter, I hope you like this. It was smooth packaging. I even took it to school. I ordered some for my multicultural potluck at work.
Right.
They loved it. They loved your sausages. They loved your meat pie. And then next time I ordered from you, I think you started saying, "Oh, this girl likes my food." You gave me a bottle of wine. Like, it's those kind of things that I think. And then the feedback you're asking, because I was like, next time I want my fish a bit dry. Okay, noted. And then next time you did it, it's those kind of things that I really love about you. That you actually you care about what your customers have to say,
right? And
knowing just what I might like, somebody else might not like,
right?
And then you asking, hey, is it okay for me to switch this oil or do that? I think you should keep it going. That's your selling factor. The fact that you really, really care. It's not just food for you.
Right.
It's that people enjoy it.
Right.
And you're Nigerian.
Thank you.
Do you know the kind of dissociation that had to do? Because when I think about Nigerian customer service is almost non-existent. So it kind of did something to me to know that I can't be saying that Nigerian customer service sucks because there's Amy. She's ruined that for me now. So anyways, keep it up.
Thank you very much.
It's really refreshing to see what you do, and I think you have no idea just how far you're gonna go. You have to believe that this is gonna take you so much far. Just keep it going. I imagine it's not easy. Mm-hmm. Having to maintain, I don't even know where they have an Excel spreadsheet. It's more meat pie like this, or our fish should be dry, or more crispy and more spice, right. Less oil, and then just keep that database going. So that way you're remembering. But that will take you a long way because that's a unique selling point, and also helping us change the narrative of what customer service should be like from a Nigerian's perspective.
Thank you so much.
So I really appreciate just wanted to say that to you.
Thank you.
I need to let her know that. Especially the aunties, and it's not just me, the aunties love your meat pie. Mm-hmm. One of them in particular, she's a food snob. I'll let you know, she's a food snob. She's like, I concur, her meat pie is the best.
Why do I want to guess? But I don't want to guess.
No, don't guess. But she's a food snob, and I always respect, because anytime she tells me food is good, I believe her. She's gospel truth. So when she said, yes, I concur, I had shared that post about bringing you on the podcast and how I love her meat pie. She's like, yes, I concur, her meat pie is the best. Because she's... We don't know play with food.
That's me. Do you know I'm picky with food?
You're picky with food?
Okay, I don't want to say picky, but there are certain things I can't just eat. Not because I hate it, but I think I have a texture thing.
Oh, so maybe overload, sensory overload, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
What don't you like eating?
I don't like...
Don't say plantains.
No, I love plantains.
Thank you.
I don't like pounding.
If I say plantains, I love it.
But Africans pounded. I don't like it.
No, but I like pounded, yeah.
I don't like either, but yam is my favorite food, by the way.
It's a great texture thing.
So that's
some people that say that they don't like grapes, but they don't like raisins, but they like grapes. Raisins are like dry grapes.
Even when I make my noodles, I fry it.
You fry what?
Noodles.
How do you just fry it?
So I don't make it really soft. So and then it's dry, and then I put a little bit of oil. So it's dry.
Okay.
Just so
the Malaysian way of eating things. Mm-hmm. Well, to each their own. I'm not gonna knock you on that.
But yeah, and one thing again I pay attention to in cooking is my number one rule for me is I won't serve someone something I will not eat.
Yes.
Even aside from the texture thing, people love pound. I make a lot of things that I might not even eat, not because I don't like it, but because of the texture. Yeah. But I just feel like the quality of things I'm giving to people
will not be as if you're not able to really enjoy.
Why would I buy, for example, meats, right? Why would I buy this type to cook for a customer, but I know I won't buy it from myself?
I see that kind of thing.
That's one of my...
I'd rather match the price and make sure that they're getting quality. Because you want them to come back.
I'm big on the quality.
Yeah, you want them to come back. Yeah, okay, good. That's good. It's evident. So, you started your first Instagram page, you started posting, and then now you're doing this full time.
Right.
Hey, God.
Right.
So when you told your parents that you were doing this full time, did they send pastor's number to call you and blow by your head?
Well,
they've been supportive. I imagine they've been supportive, but I'm sure a parent will be worried that is she making the right choice?
Yeah. Well, I didn't vaguely tell them.
That you're getting it for the first time. Breaking news.
I mean, my mom always like, I kind of told my mom like, hey, I'm quitting my job because of XYZ. It's not because I don't want to work, you know. You
needed to cook. Yeah, this is full time. I mean, cooking is a full time commitment.
Especially African food. You know how long it takes to cook?
That's why I don't really cook.
And so, blending both of them, I was like, I had only one day to cook, and I had some customers who have to cancel because I can't meet up with
the demands.
So,
yeah.
Because I had my days off my day off was Monday and then Sunday. So most people want their stuff on the weekend because that's when everything is happening.
But then by the time you're done, and then all the orders are backlogged, then you don't want to say,
So I had to think about it, put 1 and 2 and 3 together to make my decision, and so far it's been good.
How long has it been?
I quit my job last year. I was still like thinking about it, like, do I really want to do this full time? So I was still like shopping around for other jobs. But I just came to a realization where like, I already have this, so I need to build on it, you know. And it's been good so far, and I brought in some new stuff. So I'm really happy I took the step.
Are you at liberty to tell us where your cooking space is? Like, where do you cook?
I cook at home.
Is that convenient for you?
Sometimes.
No.
But when I have like really big things,
do you rent out commercial kitchen? What would be your dream setting? Like, if you could imagine what Amy's place is going to be like in the next 5 years, if money wasn't like going to be an issue and all that, what would be your ideal setting?
Or just like cooking, or your
business? Like, let's talk to some potential investors who might be listening. Are you open to investors?
Oh yes, of course.
So what's your ideal setting?
I really want to have like a big kitchen space, you know, and then my bakery. I feel like the meat spice on its own is an entity of itself.
You need a shop for that,
right?
Like a drive-through.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's what I really want, and then because I have plans for Amy's place, I want it to be beyond like the regular meat pies and stuff. So I really like some good space for the other things that I really want to do with Amy's place. So aside from the bakery part, the kitchen, you know, where I can do stuff. And now with the new development with Amy's place where I ship out, I need that whole space, that walking and stuff.
And maybe even hiring more staff. Do you have a business plan in this?
Yes, I
mean, you should send it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's something to
obviously, because as we grow, I can't do
by myself.
Yeah. So,
and it's gonna blow. I promise you. If you keep just doing this.
Right.
But I know someone like you add more and improve on it. So you're gonna even blow more than you think. The future is bright for you, Amy.
Thank you so much.
So, let me see your business plan and we can talk some more off camera.
Sure.
Try with the meat pie. That needs to go global. Because I've always been thinking about it. Nigerian food we don't have like mainstream Nigerian food. Have you heard about the history of how Chinese food became a big deal in the US?
I kind of read about it. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, I know we talk about Chinese food in the US. It's nothing like Chinese food in China.
I had a Chinese coworker. He told me, don't call it Chinese.
Panda Express.
He said, do not call it Chinese food.
Panda Express, my Chinese friends hate Panda Express because they feel like it's just the mockery of their food, but that's neither here nor there. But the beauty about what they did is that they adjusted their food to American style. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the hesitation with Nigerian meals going public is not because we don't care about the customer. It's just so hard. Our food can be fast.
Oh no, it cannot be.
It can't be fast. And if you're removing spice, removing oil, what's left? Powder. But we need to think about ways to look at puff-puff. We can make a plantain chips. Puff-puff can be a breakfast. They can be eating burrito and bagels for breakfast.
No.
Puff-puff and coffee. What's stopping you?
You're like, are you in my notes? Are you in my notes?
We need to talk.
Are you in my notes?
Shane, I like food, so this is my zone. I've been thinking even gala and coffee. You know, we can just have that and introduce, because puff-puff is a dish that many countries have it in different ways. French call it beignets, Kenyans call it mandazi, but it's still fried dough.
Right.
So we already have some things that already laid the template for us. We just need to build on. And Nigeria, we're already popular through our music.
Right.
Imagine how tagging our food in. It shouldn't be a lot.
It shouldn't be a lot. And that's why I was really glad when I saw the whole egusi and pound. But I think people were just doing
rice,
the weird
But it's
way.
still, you know what? It's still a conversation starter. Because when you have thoughts, you know, when you were in school, they bring egusi, they will not be laughing at you.
Look at you,
smelling.
The smell.
Exactly. Even taking it to work, you're like, hope they're going to smell when I'm like moving into the kitchen, in the office kitchen, you know.
Right.
But we need to be, there needs to be a proliferation of Nigerian. It's about time.
Right.
And I never say Nigerian food doesn't even cut it close, because Nigeria is such a very heterogeneous space. You know, even within Yoruba culture, we have like diversity of food.
Right.
But like the main staples.
Right.
Like our jollof rice now, I mean, people know jollof rice. Even my non-Nigerian, your powder rice. I love your powder rice. It's like, yeah, right, you know. So, we need to like, you know, make our food, you know, out there. You're Christian, right?
Right.
How's it been just keeping your faith in a country? And I imagine, okay, so this is how I liken it to be. Whenever I was in Nigeria, we have some protective factors. Mm-hmm. Everybody's kind of religious. You know, God bless you. Even when you go to a bank, but I have a nice day, God bless you. Like, even if you don't want to believe in God, God will believe in you. God will believe in you because you're Nigerian, right? Mm-hmm. And our churches are everywhere around your house, you know. I lived on church. I didn't live on Church Street. I grew up in Shomolu. Church Street was the street.
I've heard of that place.
I grew up in Shomolu. Church Street was behind my street. But on my street, we had about 10 churches.
Oh, wow.
And the mics were like facing her. You know, I grew up in Shomolu. So church was everywhere. And so it was just by default to be a Christian for me. Mm-hmm. My faith didn't really take wings until I came to the US, where I realized that nobody cares to be a Christian here. Mm-hmm. You can actually live your full evil life. You want to be evil to the fullest, you know. So I had a bit of a crisis of faith, but then you know, I've talked about that in the past. Mm-hmm. But all that to say, like, how has it been like keeping your faith here without the insurance coverage from your family? You know, like I call it like, you know, I was under my family's protection plan because my mother was she's still a prayer warrior. You know, we go to church, Bible study every day. You know, morning devotion, all these kind of things that you formed your. Were you Catholic as well? You're not Catholic, right?
I had my moments, Catholics and Pentecostal.
Okay, so you kind of a mix of it. So all of that to say that you've been exposed to the church. Right. But here is almost like you have to make a very conscious effort.
Right.
So has that been easy for you, especially keeping faith? You know, just being by yourself.
I feel like it's just been good, really, and you know, thinking about everything, I wouldn't have been in place A without God. So that helped me a lot, you know, place B. And then gift of friends. Because there's one thing to be a Christian and there's one thing to believe in God and his works in your life, which are evident. So that helped me, like testimonies. For example, I remember believing God for, God, please provide my tuition and all of that, you know, because all of that, you know, just God helping, providing, protecting me over and over again. It's just been a testimony. And then, you know, people around you. And then also knowing God for yourself. Because it's one thing to hear about God, this and that, and another thing to open the Bible and read the Bible and see how God has done certain things, you know, made his words, you know, come to pass in your life. And so it's been that really. So
personal convictions.
Personal conviction.
And there's nothing like that because there's really something the pastor would tell you.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell people, even with my science brain, whenever I took a break from church, I could never deny the existence of God because I've felt it. I've had a corporal experience.
Right.
And it wasn't auto-suggestion. Like, there's no way I can even explain it. Unless you go through this kind of moments, you know. Now, sometimes my faith might shake, but my questioning the extent of God, never. You know. So, okay, that's very refreshing to see. And thanks for that reminder about just the importance of personal convictions. So maybe even in praying for our friends, the lesson here is that in praying for our friends who you want them to come to faith, is that God should, you know, show himself to them. Yeah. You know, we can live our lives, you know, and show them what Christian living is like, but there's nothing quite like, especially for someone like me that is quite stubborn. You know, Unless I see that angel coming down, like, sorry.
Personal encounters.
Personal encounters go a long way. They go a long way.
Right.
They go a long way, yeah. So I was going to ask you this question earlier, but I forgot. In the past, the biggest thing that happened in Nigeria recently was the elections.
Right.
And with that came just a lot of dredging up, I don't know how to even talk about this now without getting mad. So I grew up being in Lagos, I grew up in a very multi-diverse community, right? My neighbors were Igbo.
Mm-hmm.
Egusi Igbo is one of my favorite, the chunks, or hassle. Like, I grew up listening to Oliver the Cook. Like, I don't know how I never learned how to speak Igbo because I was just so immersed into it. And then going to a boarding house in Nigeria where you had people from all over the country. So I was used to have people that didn't speak my own language. Mm-hmm. Of course, I went to school in the Southwest, so Yoruba was a predominant language. But I never saw an Igbo person as less than me. I never saw anybody else as less than me. If anything, we abuse ourselves together. People like oil, they don't like oil. And they will call it a day. But that's just, being friends, But this whole election brought up a lot of anti-Igbo rhetoric and even just some verbal and physical attacks. Mm. Now, of course, you're far away from home.
Right.
But I imagine you having family there. You probably also stirred up something in you. Mm. What was that like for you? And what would you like to just say about... Because, another way of thinking about it is this. If when you're in the US, you're already struggling with being Black, immigrant, female. Mm-hmm. And then you're not reminded that, you're Igbo. What does that even mean? It's not enough just be human and go through all of the processes of life. Right. Now, I reminding that, you are not part of us. You're trying to take over something but is that even your thing in the first place? But, that's a separate conversation. Right. But I just wanted to know what your thought processes were like there and especially being far away from your parents and your family.
For the election thing, I felt like I knew this was going to happen, just from like the history of how things have been. But it was really scary for me, to be honest. I'm not with my family, so I don't know. And obviously they kind of cushion things just so they don't stir up any fear in me. It was very sad to see how people think, even in 2023.
That was the most shocking part of it for me.
Like some things I saw on Twitter,
the blatant Instagram,
and I'm like, we shouldn't be doing this. My own vision or what I would think, regardless of the cultural background of the person, is this person willing to do the work?
That's it.
That should be like our focus, and not if you're Igbo, you're about Hausa, it's all about the work, because at the end of the day, whoever is on there
should do the work.
And it's going to benefit everyone from all cultures. But I don't know why they're handling things like this. But I just hope that, things get better from here onward.
Well, we can only hope against hope, because Nigeria, I don't know, it's it's in God's hands now. I don't know. I'm sure you also get a lot of questions. Oh, by the way, your friend Shakina said amazing customer service, and we do agree with you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So let's just even rounding off. You are part of several communities of practices, right? When it comes to your craft. So you gave us some examples like creative executive officer, which I like, CEOs. I got that. Chefs in diaspora, African chefs in diaspora, chefs called Food Afrique. What made you stick out those communities, and can you highlight some of just the best parts of being a part of these communities?
I think you get to see things from other lenses, because there's one thing to know how to cook, and there's one thing to know how to put up things. And I don't know if I met you at that time. Last year, I had my very first private dinner event.
I met you in November. Was this before November?
It was before November.
Okay.
So I had my very...
When is the next one?
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
I better be there. I'm going to get crashed doing it right now. I'm just saying. I've already declared my criminal intention on camera.
I had my very first private dinner setup event, which it was very beautiful for me, because it's like my dream coming to pass, Because people had this whole notion of African food, they just dish it out anyhow. Mm-hmm. Well, I just wanted.
I think I saw it on video on Instagram. You had ushers too.
Yes.
Yes, that was what I saw. Like, wow. Yeah.
And I
was on pasta there, right? Was this pasta?
That was Singapore noodles.
That's what I saw. I'm like, my goodness. Okay.
And
see, Amy, I stopped it.
And then big on Afro fusion too, because like you said earlier, balancing things out. You know?
Yes.
And that was just to put it out there. Like African food is not boring because people think it's boring. You can have like literally like courses. It just depends on how you like serve it, plate it. You know how you make it feel, the kind of music, everything. You know how like they can hire like an Italian chef to make 3-course meals. Yeah. Africans can do that too. We have the resources. So that's one of the reasons why I'm in part of all these organizations, where I can see things from a bigger lens, you know, literally learn and see, okay, we can make this look prettier. We can make this, we can learn packaging. Because like I said, I never had like a grounded business background. I just had to learn, practice, and then see how people do stuff. Okay, how can I improve it? Or how can I add my own touch to it?
I see.
Yeah, that's really why I'm here.
So like, I've seen two kinds of people who like, you know, create food and all that. Some go through the classical route of being trained as chefs, maybe using the Parisian, like the French method of cooking and all that. And some just learn, you know, as it go and they improve on it. Do you ever have any plans on maybe going to any form of chef school or culinary school to like get some additional technical skills?
Yes, I really want to. Really? I want to learn certain things. Yeah, I really want to. But when the time is right.
Yeah.
I want to like learn some things. You know how you can infuse, you can make African food in a way that it's like mind-blowing. So I think I just want to get a feel of, you know, learning from those professionals how to make this look like this, but it's still very authentic African food.
Yeah, I know. I think I know what you mean.
Right.
I know exactly what you mean. I don't know if I told you just that my dream was to, when I grew up, was to get my PhD in France, go to culinary school and adopt a baby. I always wanted to go to culinary school, you know, now, but not to cook for. I don't enjoy the business side of cooking. I just like to cook for people, but I don't think I'm going to make a living out of it. Just kidding. But I think it's impressive what you do, especially not just relying on your passion, but also being part of communities.
Right.
And I think it speaks to the importance of finding people who share the same vision as you, or people that you can even learn from.
Right.
Because you can even broaden your scope. And how much when you're in a place like Oklahoma? I mean, let's be realistic. It's not super diverse. You know, we have to be very intentional about communities.
Right.
So thanks for that reminder, Amy. Now, for those who aspire to own their crafts, maybe make a name for themselves, because Amy's Space is a brand. What are some encouragement you'd like to give them? And they might not necessarily be in this part of the world. Maybe they might feel like they are limited by one word. And I imagine you went to those phases as well.
I did.
How would you like to encourage them?
Pretty much knowing what you want to do. Knowing what you want to do, your niche is very important. So you know, like, okay, this is what I'm working towards. This is what I want to do. And then really working towards it, like genuinely. Don't say, I want to be a tailor, for example, and you just keep saying, like, just do it, like Nike, right? Just do it. And then be open to learning. Be open to learning and working with people. Because I think if we don't learn, how do we evolve to be better?
Amen, sister.
So we have to, like, when I told my brother one day we were on the phone and I said, I'm reading a book about, like, cooking and the business part of it. And he was like, you're reading? I'm like, yeah. Because that's the only way I can learn, you know? So pretty much assimilate into the culture where we live. Like, how would we package this for an American to be willing to try it out? All of that stuff, you know, that helps. So aside from knowing what you're doing, obviously work hard to build it and then be disciplined towards it. And then from there, it will get better. It's not going to be like the smoothest ride ever, but just keep doing it and improving yourself, and it then gets better from there.
Okay. I mean, that's very, very impressive, and especially the importance of personal development and taking it upon yourself. And learning doesn't have to take one form. You can go back to school, you can pick up a book, you can enroll in a course, you can be part of communities. Whatever you do, just keep working, just keep doing it. Don't be stagnant, and think of ways where you can improve your game, because there's really nothing new in the world, but your personality and what spin you put on it will make a lot of difference. Right? You've kind of hinted at this, but I would like for you to give you more airtime. So, are there any exciting projects or ventures that you're currently working on? And then what's your future plan for Amy's Place in terms of expansion and new offerings?
Okay, so like I was talking to her about it, I started mailing out pastries because I would get messages whenever I post like meat pies and stuff. They'd be like, when are you gonna send it out? When are you gonna? So I had to work on that, putting it out, like my packaging, like make sure it gets to the customers in the right state. And so I did some mock ship outs and stuff, and everything turned out good.
How did that go with the USPS? What do you use? UPS?
UPS.
Okay, no USPS, right?
No, I do not.
Or FedEx, was it just for your...
I also have Instagram on the boxes.
Yeah.
So I have stickers where it says please handle with care.
Is it like overnight shipping?
So I have 2 shipping options because if you want it the next day, it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
So I have 2 options. So some people get the second day air, but they're both by air. The only ground shipping is for chin chin because
it's durable.
Yeah. And then I also started. I don't know if you know about this, but I started my mocktail page.
You have a mocktail page?
I just started.
How come I didn't know about this? Is it hidden?
I just put it out.
Okay.
Maybe a few months, and I've only posted on there once because the idea for the mocktail page is, some people don't like alcohol. Yeah. Some people don't drink alcohol. Or you want to enjoy a drink and you don't want to do soda all the time. Mm-hmm. So I started on my mocktail page where you can get the drinks look as appealing as the alcohol, but it's without alcohol. And then
that's just it's getting
open for kids events. So my goal for that is just for events. So you can have non-alcoholic wines, non-alcoholic champagnes, for your upscale events too, without it being alcohol for people who don't want to consume alcohol and all that pretty stuff for the drinks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, this is your opportunity to ask any questions you might have, for us. You can unmute or put them in the chat function. I say chat function into the chat, and I'll address them. But while we're doing that, I'm waiting to see if any questions pop up. Do you have any questions for me? This is your time to ask me any question as a host, or now I'm flipping the script and give you an opportunity to ask me any question you might be curious to know about the process or about me, or just say.
I'm going to ask about your job. How do you handle that? I know you said your bio says you're an assistant professor for pharmacy. How do you like it? How is it?
Is it off camera? Okay. No. We can talk some more off camera. But let me just say this. It wasn't. There's a lot you get started with enthusiasm, right? And I think an average Nigerian, we don't take things lying down. We're very, very adventurous, right? We always try to go get the best, right? And I think that was what propelled me even coming to this job, because I went straight from grad school to a position. Usually, people who go through a postdoc. I skipped all of that.
Oh, wow.
So, not because I wanted to, it's just, let's just get right into it. And it was also the prospect of starting something new. So, for context, I was the first person hired in the past 10 years. Hold on. Who's back laughing? And I hate to put it this way, but let me just contextualize it. I was also the first Black person, hired outside of there. And, female as well in a long while. Right. And so, talking about being aggressive about using your team, that was something that came in handy. But I've been there for 6 years, right? I've learned 2 things. You have to diversify your network. You have to. And I think as women of color or even people that are not from here, we're over-mentored and under-sponsored.
Right.
I don't need a mentor anymore. I want a sponsor. Now, what's the difference between a sponsor and a mentor? A sponsor is someone that has power. Just one quick email to somebody, all the doors open.
Right.
So take, for example, I've been trying to reach somebody on campus. So whenever I got started to collaborate with them, they're very renowned, world-renowned when it comes to lupus research, which is one aspect of my research. And they won't respond to my email. I sent 2 gentle reminders. After my first email, they never responded. I reached out to someone that I knew that had power. Like, hey, I've been trying to get this person. He emailed. Before I knew it, the very minute I got a response. That's an example of a sponsor. They have power. They're very reputable in the field. But it takes a lot of scratching to find who a sponsor is. They don't have all the time. Now, no offense to mentors. Mentors are great to have. But I'm saying you as a person who's trying to build a network, make sure you're not just relying on one person to be everything to you. Mm-hmm. You need a coach, you need a mentor, you need a sponsor, you need a confidant, you need a peer friend, somebody you can call and just rant and cry and not even filter words and drop all the bombs, about something that's happening at work. You can't put that in one person. I need mentors for different things.
Right.
I have mentors for my methodology, for my intervention development, for cancer research, for lupus research. And I think when I came to that realization, life became very easy for me. Mm. Another thing I've learned is that spend your money. So whenever I got a startup package, to help you set up your lab. Mm. And I was doing that in Nigeria. I don't even know where I learned it from. Just trying to conserve money for the university.
Hey. So innate, like, Nigerians spend that money.
Biggest regrets. If I could do it now differently, I'll hire help. That's the first. I should have. I hired a research tech. It wasn't just until recently, 6 years, that I got my first hire. Mm. I had the money. So Lana was just doing it by herself. I was just like, let me just, like an octopus. I can do it by myself. Am I mad?
You burn out.
I don't even know how I did it. I don't even know why I'm still alive, because that was the first thing you should have done. Hire help, hire an assistant. You have the money to pay for it, And then the workplace is different. And maybe because of me, if somebody does something I don't like, I either look the other way or I ask you, hey, I don't like that thing you did. And usually I'm not very confrontational when it comes to things I don't like. So I'll find a way to just give them benefit and just keep it working, unless you're very, very, obnoxious about it. Mm. But if I'm in the workplace, not everybody operates like that.
No.
People are so petty. People are so, so petty. And I think sometimes by virtue of you being different, they always want to make you, and I don't want to sound very generalistic about it, but I found that not everybody has your back at work. And so you have to be very wise about it.
That's everywhere, really.
Yeah, but when you're living in la la la, like if I'm good, then people are good,
Right.
Mm-mm. But you know what? Nothing beats doing good work.
It works for you, right?
Yeah, like be excellent at what you do. As a matter of fact, put that Nigerian touch on and be extra excellent at it. Nothing beats great work. I mean, they can talk about things, they can't talk about your work, right?
Right.
So I've had to learn the quality of this, and I'm very thankful for very savvy mentors who have gone through what I've gone through. This is why we should tell our stories. Right. Because I have great mentors. Like I have people that can just call. I'm like, I need help with this. They're on it. They're telling me what to do, what to say, and just helping me. Because I'm so overwhelmed. But imagine they weren't very helpful to me. Right. So yeah, and if you work for a university system, it's even more complex.
Right. The bigger
I mean, in theory, in paper, they want to support you. But it's just that the culture of the place is different. You're an outsider, and that's it. And that's okay. And also find people in power. So those are my tips about workplace politics. Yeah, so but I'm still there. Oh, no questions. Thank you. Your friends are really great. Thanks for checking out for that. She said, no questions, but so proud of you, sis. Keep going. Yeah. So yeah, be very savvy, but be gentle too.
Right.
People think because you're black, you're supposed to be loud and all that. You don't have to raise your voice.
That's just a stereotype.
You don't have to raise your voice. Just be very cordial. If you have to speak up, speak up. Don't raise your voice, don't lose your cool. Advocate for yourself. Learn how to advocate for yourself.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
You have to learn it. you have to learn it and come and resit and, back it with facts and learn how to advocate. That was the hardest for me. Because I'm like, just, this is obvious. I need this. Give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
To say no.
Why?
Why no? Okay, here's why you need to give it to me. Now turn to lawyer. Defending for your client of one, which is you. You're both the lawyer and the client, right? Fine. So, talk about conflict of interest. So, yeah. But I've grown up a lot in the span of 6 years. And I've just learned that there are good people who care about your success. Yes. So I just focus on those people. And I have great mentors. Because Oklahoma is not quite very open. You know what I mean? They're trying, but they're still compared to like New York, where cultural diversity, people know some things. Oklahomans are still trying to catch up. And sometimes there's a lot of, issues that spills on us because we are the receiving end of those things. But don't fight all the battles yourself. If you're in a place where you feel like you've done your best and it's not working, leave.
Right.
Leave. You don't have to be the one trying to change the story. Why should you keep fighting against principalities and powers? They've set up that place as a way to kind of like frustrate your life. Just leave.
Right.
Find somewhere you can thrive. There's no perfect workspace. But in that said, don't stay in a place where your health is compromised, your mental health is compromised. Mm-hmm. You feel like there are people just trying to, you have like a dart on your back, people are trying to, you're moving target, yeah. Just leave and find somewhere else where you can thrive. Because your work is hard enough. Mm-hmm. You don't need all the fiery arrows from the enemy. So yeah.
You do not, really do not.
I hope that answered your question.
Yes, and there are some things you said which we can apply to even outside your kind of job, to every other thing you do. And then on a more calmer note, you speak Korean. How?
그냥 관심을 많이 있거든요. 그러니까 한국에 7년 전에 시작했어서요.
I know what you're saying. I do not know what you're saying.
I just said I had a lot of interest in it. So, about 7 years ago, I began studying it. It's just the way you are about food. That's how I'm about food.
You self-learned?
That's how I was self-learning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I can be quite obsessive in nature when I like something. So I just, for 6 months by myself, I knocked out the basic stuff. But then I realized that I need to be in an interaction with native speakers to learn from the output part of learning, which is speaking so having conversations.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's been 7 years. But I still have a lot to learn because I'm still in the intermediate phase and I've been stuck there for a while. But I think I'm going to be comfortable here. For me to break that barrier and break that whatever and move to the next level, it would take like the same deep work I did 7 years ago.
Starting out.
Like just 6 months I was crazy about Korean. Like I studied like 2 hours every day. Wow. No, I still study Korean every day. Every day I study Korean. But it's the learning part of it is more passive, not quite active. I had notebooks and notebooks full of just my writings and, my videos and watching stuff and breaking stuff down. Now I learn through movies, through songs, through, I have like a pop-up on my phone, like an app. So, let me show you. So, I have this stuff popping up like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I learn, phrase books, like it pops up a phrase. But for me to move to the advanced level, especially with the technical part, I can carry on conversations. I can, if you're talking beside me in Korea, I know everything. I can hear everything you're saying. And I like to do that sneak attack, like, I can hear you. If I were to go to Korea, I won't get lost. I won't get sold out. But there's some technical terms I would like to learn, especially when it comes to my communities and practices, like cancer research, like technical terms you use in a clinical setting or research setting. That I think I need to, be very methodical about it. So I've kind of been coasting along for the past 2-3 years. I'm waiting for whenever I'll get my next big break. So during my sabbatical, I'm going to go to Korea for my sabbatical.
That would be cool.
Yeah, but I'm very conversational. I can listen, I can hear, I can speak, and I can write.
It's nice. That means you're part of the K-drama team.
No, not really though. So I do watch K-dramas, but I'm not like how do I put it? When you say K-drama, you're like very, very into it.
I have some friends who like love K-drama, and so I'm like,
there's an appeal to it, definitely. There's an appeal to it. And have you gotten into it?
Nah, I think it's too much.
Don't get into it, because we get into it, we start making it pies. I don't want that to happen. I'm just speaking for myself. Yeah, selfishly speaking, it's quite addictive one. But there's some similarities to our culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, strong nationalistic pride, and love for food, the celebration of food, familiar piety, and just, you know, respect for elders.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar with our culture.
The Asian culture in general.
Similar. And the stories always have this. So in Korea, they have what they call Han, which is like, how do I explain Han? It's like, it's so many things, but one of the things is like righting a wrong, a deep-seated grudge, you know, but writing it like, you know, justice finally. Mm-hmm. So you see that, you know, is a common thread that runs through the dramas. Mm-hmm. There's also jong, which is like affection. It's not, no. It's like I can feel jong towards you, like almost like your family, but you're not my family. Okay. So that also runs like a thread. So the bad guy always, you know, ends up getting their comeuppance, and the good guy wins. And but the stories are usually holistic, and because they don't drag you like American seasons, 7 seasons. No, Korean series are usually one season long and 12 to 16 episodes. And because of that, the stories are quite, you know, the way they write it is quite, you know, and they don't do a lot of nudity and sex.
I know, they're very like conservative.
But the movies can be quite different though. Some movies, yeah, some movies are like, this doesn't look Korean. But they're serious because, again, it's a time for ajumas, which are the older ladies in the morning. They have achim dramas, morning dramas. Mm-hmm. So sometimes families get together to watch. Mm-hmm. They want to make sure that it's very, very safe. Things to watch. So they're very, very kind of like the way Super Story was growing up in Nigeria, that kind of thing. Yeah. So
makes sense.
But I love Korean. Korean makes me happy. Like, don't get me wrong, there are issues with the country, like every other country, but just the language itself and how I connect with the culture. Even when I'm stressed, like I'm dead tired, just want to plunge into it. It's like my way of escape. Like I'm like part of a secret club where I can see the world through a different scripts. Right. And it just gets challenging me, very excited. So yeah, that's cool.
I see Ari can even eat with her chopsticks.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I do have to go for that. No, that's all she wants to eat with chopsticks, yeah. Yeah. She picks a little bit words here and there. I don't know if I'm gonna be I'm teaching her both Yoruba and Korean, and she's able to hear some, but she says little phrases in Yoruba like wah, blah. You know, why is come, why is being killed. But I told myself, even if she doesn't know how to speak any of these languages, as well as I raise a well-adjusted child, right? That's what I'm not going to say. Again, living here, you're like by yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You're not within your community. They can't pick up these languages in the playground or in school or in church, you know. You're the lunch lady, you're the school lady, teaching your kids, you know, the same language about there's so much pressure. So yeah.
Plus work and
everything else. Yeah. It's just like, you know, just be kind to people. If you can speak the language of kindness, then you're a global citizen. That's all that matters. When you grow up, you can find your own language. Maybe Korean is not even going to be her language. I don't know. But
she might like Spanish.
She might like Spanish. You know, and, you know, whatever she wants to explore, I'm just here to support. You know, the same way my parents, you know, support me. So that's cool. Thank you. Anything else you want to know? I love your questions, Byron.
Yeah, because I see, like, when you post up things, and I know, like, the things you have, like, up there. Mm-hmm. I know you're very passionate about your work. Yeah. Your research and stuff. I saw when you traveled to Taiwan. Yeah. All of that. Yeah. And then I know, like, you're a big Korean person. I've seen you, like, writing things in Korean as well.
Yeah, I'm big in Korean. Yeah, it makes me it gets me excited. Yeah. Thank you. We don't have any questions for the guests, but from the listeners, so we're just going to go ahead and wrap up. Amy, it's been really thanks for honoring the invitation to be here in person. Like I know we've met, you know, for deliveries and all that, but that you trusted me enough to come to my house and not thinking that maybe she's a serial killer and making thanks for that trust and even coming to you Saturday morning. I know you could be spending to make you pie and all of your beautiful confections. Thanks for taking your time, and even most importantly, for sharing your story. I learned a lot about you, your resilience, and just how well adjusted you are. But then underneath that is just the pillars of family and faith,
right,
and your community as well. And thanks for highlighting the importance of not doing life alone.
Right.
Even though you might be an introvert, the internet is not has given us an excuse. There's no excuse anymore for anybody to be an introvert and just living life alone. Right. Now, be an introvert, that's fine, you're different. But to be isolated and alone, no excuse anymore, okay?
Right.
And so make sure you find your people through the internet. Find things you're passionate about. If you're able to make money out of it, how great, right? And so for those who might be curious to find you and also order, like guys, she bought me meat pie. I'm gonna say very, very nice. But part of the reason why I'm trying to round off this conversation, you guys should order her food, like seriously. And she ships across the US, so that's very still. For those who might be willing to find you, where can they find you?
On Instagram, I'm Amy's Place, AMYS_P. So I have like my pretty Amy's Place logo. You can't miss that.
Yeah.
On Facebook, I'm Amy's Place. It also has the logo. And then I recently had Snapchat because I was trying to separate like my personal life from that. So I think it's Amy's.place1 on Snapchat, but it has a chef with red hair. And
TikTok.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok actually, and it's Amy's Place. Let me check.
Okay. Sure. Let me just say, she might really be a serial killer, but be off duty today.
I'm trying to get into TikTok, but I'm just like, it's a lot.
Yeah, very brave.
Yeah.
I could never.
So on TikTok is Amy's.place.
Okay.
And then it has my picture.
Okay.
So for my TikTok, I was trying to merge like everything together because I didn't want to have two separate TikToks. So a little bit of like my travels whenever I get to travel, my food and my drink. So on there, it has me facing the sun when I went to Dubai.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's what I have up on there.
All right.
So I have that. Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Okay.
And then you can just follow me on there and see all the interesting things we might be unveiling from time to time. But I'm really, really glad and honored to be on your podcast today.
Of course.
Thank you.
And I meant to about the business plan. You have my email address, right?
Right, I do.
Yeah, just send me your business plan.
Okay.
And especially plans for expansion and like what the investors will get out of it.
Okay.
I think I might have some people who might be interested.
Thank you.
Pay for your meat pies. That one I can take to the bank. It's bankable gold. Thank you all, especially for your friend. I mean, you have great friends. She's been here since. You want to just say hi to
China. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you. She's been one of the people who encouraged me to keep going and stuff.
Thank you.
Amongst my big family of friends who will be like, Amy, what's up? But yeah, I'm really, really glad that you came on, and I hope that you've learned a little about me from this podcast, and I'm looking forward to treat your palate with amazing pastries and foods.
Her name looks unique. Is she African as well?
Yes.
She's from
Congo? Is, I think she's from Ivory Coast.
Okay. Yeah. Where's you? T-Doc, thank you. Olamide. And yeah, so we'll see you guys on another episode of the Possible Podcast. Thanks for hanging with us. This has been with Amy's Place. Go get your orders. She ships them, and I will make a picture of me eating my meat pie. I gotta go. Mom is hungry. Bye, guys. Have a good one.